because those are people who deserve our attention.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So take us through what happened yesterday morning.
I came into work. It was about 11:15 when we opened, and by the time I moved the cars and came around the building, I noticed that my garage windows were shattered, and the garage window or the garage door had been opened about a foot, and the alarm, of course, was set. But it had gone on for so long, it eventually will, turn itself off. And I came in and I called 911 and said my building has been broken into, and that's where it all started. And fortunately, nothing was taken. I think the alarm scared the guy off. Honestly, I've seen it. I saw him on camera run off the lot. I saw him on camera walk on my lot and then run off empty-handed. So he didn't get anything, thankfully. But the fact that he, was brazen enough to come in my building really shook me up, because normally it's vandalism, a converter, maybe a stereo, something of that nature. But this is the first time in many, many, many years that they've actually tried to enter the building. So I definitely wanted police here at that time, because this has been going on up and down the street a lot. Windows are getting broken out of. They're trying to get into their buildings, and now it's me. So something had to be done. So that's basically where it started.
When you walk in and you see broken glass, what did you feel?
No, I felt violated. This is like our home. This is our 40th year in business, actually next month. So, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears goes into this. We're family owned and operated, and I'm here 14, 15 hours a day, and it was almost like someone just broke into your house. I was pissed, to be honest with you. Upset, angry, whichever word you want to use, but very, very, just freaked out, shaken up.
You said your stomach dropped.
Yeah, I was just, it's just one of those, I can't explain it. It's almost like I wanted to throw up. It was like, oh my God, So, I was pretty upset.
So you called 911. What did they tell you?
Well, I called 911 and I told them that I had a burglary. And, she politely asked me if there was anybody in the building. And I said, not that I can see. I'm not even sure they actually came in. But they did try and gain entry, and I need somebody here immediately. And she said, okay, well, I'll let a detective know, and I'll send out an officer. And that was I don't know. By then it was probably 11 o'clock, somewhere around there. So I waited and I waited and I waited, and they called at 1:45. Now, meanwhile, my garage doors are open because I don't want to touch them, because I'm thinking there's fingerprints there. Obviously, the guy reached into the door and unlocked it. So 1:45 they call, and the dispatcher was very, very nice, and she apologized, said they were very busy and someone would be out momentarily. They'd get an officer right out. So at 2:42, I get another call. Again, asking me if an officer had been out. And I said no. And they said, well, we'll get one right out to you. Now, by 4 o'clock, I have just had it, because I called back. And still, I have no heat in my building because it's pointless. And I have glass everywhere. My customers are trying to walk around it. I don't want to touch anything. I can't let my dog out. It's a huge inconvenience. So they tell me that nobody has been dispatched yet, but we'll get someone here out. So at that point, I got very upset. I asked to speak to the supervisor. One wasn't available. So I hung up the phone and I called Councilman Polensik, who has always, always got things to happen for me. So I called Councilman and I asked him, please, for his help. He was very, very distraught by the fact that it had been almost 6 hours since I had anybody here. So he immediately fired off an email to the commander and the chief, and I believe the safety director. And about 4:25-ish, I got a call from a lieutenant, I believe. And he asked me if anybody had been out yet. And I again said no. And he said, we'll get someone out there immediately. So 5 o'clock-ish, the patrolman shows up and explains to me and my husband that due to the nature of the crime, they would not be taking fingerprints, but merely writing a report. So that was it. At that point, my husband asked the patrolman nicely to leave, because there was really nothing he was going to do for us. And actually, Councilman Polensik stopped by yesterday evening around 6:30 just to make sure everything was okay. And I had showed him what had happened. By then I had the glass out and I was working on replacing it. And he apologized profusely and asked me to, give him a detailed update, email exactly what transpired. The problems I've been having in the neighborhood, a lot of times we don't even bother calling, because you can't get the police here. There's either not enough, or there's too much crime, or something's going on to the fact where we can't get any help or support over here. And it's just not me. This is just not me. Everybody on the street will tell you the same thing. All the business owners will tell you that they just don't bother anymore, because it almost feels pointless, because writing a report is not going to find this kid who brazenly walks across all these businesses early in the morning, making himself at home, trying to gain entry and steal whatever he can. That's just, we have to do something, or nobody is going to come here. Nobody's going to want to be here. I mean, I'm not. I mean, the businesses are going to eventually go.
What message does it send to you when police don't show up?
Well, a couple things. First of all, I have nothing bad to say about any policeman. I love the police. They're great guys. But the problem lies in the fact that either we don't have enough policemen in the districts, we have too much crime, which goes back to the point that we don't have enough police officers. So it tells me that we have a huge problem in this city, a huge problem. And I don't think that specifically they don't care about me per se. I just think that there's so much going on that this is like small potatoes. So like I told the councilman, you know, I know I have his support. And I know ultimately we have the police's support, but it just seems like we're just, you know, they told me it was a petty crime. To me, this isn't petty. This is hundreds of dollars worth of damage. Anybody breaking into your house, I don't think would be considered petty. This is an issue. So, you know, that's kind of where we left it. I did tell Polensek I would get back to him today and give him a nice detailed email, and we've replaced our glass, and we're just going to keep it moving.
Do you feel safe?
Here? I really don't scare that easily, to be honest with you. I do feel safe here. I love this neighborhood. This is a great neighborhood. The people, the neighbors, people that live here, the majority of them are wonderful people. Our customers are wonderful. I have no desire to leave this neighborhood. And I do feel safe. It's just that I don't feel that the streets are patrolled enough. I don't feel like, you know, they should be up and down these streets 6 o'clock in the morning, you know, checking on the businesses, see what's going on, keep a vigilant eye out is what they should be doing.
Do you ever see officers out here?
Oh yeah, I see them drive by once in a while. You know, they drive by. Euclid drives by, Cleveland drives by, and you know, they're pretty busy.
How much is this all going to cost you to fix up?
Well, it actually wasn't that bad. It was about $100, which is 2 panes of glass and some caulk. But nonetheless, it's my time, effort, and energy. My whole day yesterday was trying to get the police here. I got nothing done. Nothing. No paperwork. Nothing I had to get done. No phone calls. Anything. Because all I could do was sit here and be aggravated that the police weren't here. I mean, 6 hours. Imagine being in a car accident and waiting 6 hours for the police to come. I mean, it's just not acceptable. And I think that we need to really take a good look at it before our city just crumbles apart.
What words would you use to describe their response?
Lethargic? I mean, slow? Non-existent? Non-existent. I have no words. That just should never have happened. Ever. Especially, you know, this is, you know, the commander of the 5th District lives on that side street for 25 years, almost as long as we've been here. So he's real familiar with our business. So I would hope as a 40-year business owner, we would get some kind of maybe up on the ladder of importance a little bit. I don't know, but apparently that doesn't happen like that, so.
This isn't the first time this has happened.
No. The last time we had damages, we didn't even call. Because the time before that, they didn't even come. So for me to call the police and them not come, it's very frustrating when I have, you know, 8 broken mirrors, you know, and I can see the guy on my car lot wrenching on them for, you know, 25 minutes the guy was on there. I called the police, they just never came. And again, maybe it's petty crime. The next day, actually, they did show up. And by then, I just sent them away because it had rained profusely that night. Any fingerprints, any shoe prints, anything. And that cost me probably $3,000 to fix. Because again, it doesn't pay to put it on my insurance. My insurance is $10,000 a year. That makes it go up even higher. So what is the point? I don't need a report written. You know, to this point, it's almost, you know, that's why we didn't call. So this is the first time actually, and it was, I probably wouldn't even have called if I didn't see the doors open, to be honest with you. Because it was like a reflex. Oh my God, give me the phone, 911. because I thought maybe someone was in here, or maybe they had come in, and stolen something. I don't know. I've never seen that before. I mean, I've seen someone shot out our window, big deal, but this was like over the line. This was like coming into my family and trying to hurt us personally. So I took great offense when they didn't find my call to be important enough to send somebody in a timely manner. Now I get it if you're busy. There's shootings, bank robberies, whatever. I understand that. But you can't tell me, I mean, what happened yesterday that between 6 hours that they couldn't send somebody here to see what a viable business owner's complaint was that pays their taxes for 40 years to this community. You check the tax bill, they're paid every year for 40 years. Who are we paying? Why are we paying? There's holes out there that I could fall into on the street. So where are our taxes? Maybe that's where we should start taking a look.
Based on what you told me, something could happen again. What are you gonna do next time?
Probably the same thing. New cameras are being installed. We're putting better color HD cameras now inside the building as well as outside. We're going to increase our alarm system. All we can do is arm ourselves against it. We have to be vigilant, but like I said, we don't scare easily. We've been here 40 years. We're not going anywhere.
But
Nowhere.
will you call police?
Probably not. What would be the point? Unless someone's shooting at me, then I would, maybe that. But for it to come in and something broke, I mean, what does that tell the criminals that are watching this? Like, ooh, it's open season on 185th Street. Go get whatever you want. I mean, we don't keep money here, but a lot of the other businesses do. I mean, these people are hand to mouth just like us. Like, what's going to keep them open the next month? So how is it right that people can just come and do this to us and there's nobody to stop them? It's like the Wild West. It's like East Cleveland's creeping in over here. And if you've been through East Cleveland, I don't want this to be East Cleveland. I mean, that's ridiculous.
You're amazing. First of all, we're gonna have you show us what you found.
Okay.
You're gonna win us an Emmy because your interview was fantastic.
Oh, is it?
Thank you.
Thanks.
Oh my God, you're so